So you've hit that weight loss goal. Congrats. But now you're dealing with, the aftermath, a little bit of extra baggage in the form of loose skin.
Yeah.
Well, that's where today's deep dive comes in.
Okay.
We're getting into total body transformations, specifically this procedure, everything you need to know about it from the experts over at HealR in Mumbai.
And you know what's interesting? A lot of people, I think, when they hear total body lift, they just think it's like liposuction, but on a bigger scale, when actually it's a lot more than that.
Let's unpack that a little.
Yeah.
What is a total body lift then?
So it's really about getting rid of that excess skin and fat. And that's why it's so life-changing, especially for people who've gone through, massive weight loss.
Right.
Maybe they had bariatric surgery. Maybe they just did a complete lifestyle overhaul. This is, it's not a quick fix. This is for people who are ready for a totally different physique.
So not just a little nip and tuck here and there. And we're not even talking about just one procedure, are we? There are different types of total body lifts.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's so great is it's really tailored to what your goals are.
Okay.
So HealR, they offer upper body lifts.
Uh-huh.
And that's going to be focusing on your arms, chest, back. Then there's the lower body lift, which is going to be your abdomen, buttocks, hips, thighs. And then, of course, there's the full body lift,
It works.
which combines it all.
Head to toe.
Exactly.
Now, this is something that really, my ears kind of perked up when I was reading through this material, because it's not just about, looking different. It's about how this procedure can impact really your whole life, it seems.
Oh, absolutely. And you're totally right. It's, there's the aesthetic transformation, right? Like imagine finally having that defined waistline or those toned arms that you've always wanted. But honestly, for a lot of people, it goes so much deeper than that. You think about the impact loose skin can have on your self-confidence, how you feel when you get dressed in the morning, how you carry yourself. This can be so incredibly empowering. It's about helping people feel comfortable and confident in their own skin again. And that's huge.
Almost like stepping into a whole new chapter, physically and mentally.
Exactly.
You put in the work.
Right.
And we can't gloss over those practical benefits either. No more struggling to find clothes that fit properly or dealing with chafing or skin irritation. I mean, that can really put a damper on things.
Absolutely. I mean, especially for people who have lost a lot of weight, those are very real everyday frustrations that, kind of melt away.
So let's say you're listening to this right now and you're like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
What's it actually like to go through this procedure at HealR? Paint us a picture.
Well, they really have this personalized approach, and it starts with a one-on-one consultation. And this isn't just a quick 5-minute chat.
Right.
This is where they really dive deep.
Right.
They assess your health, they talk about your goals, they listen to any concerns you have, and then they really work with you to make a plan.
I'm already getting the sense that they're very committed to making sure you feel comfortable, informed every step of the way.
Yeah, exactly. And then comes the surgery prep, and this is a big one.
Okay.
This is where we're talking about lifestyle changes. Quitting smoking if you smoke. There's going to be some specific dietary guidelines you need to follow. And this isn't just, a suggestion. This is really crucial for the procedure and a healthy recovery.
All right. So We've done our homework. We've prepped. We are ready. Walk us through what actually happens during the procedure at HealR.
All right. So they use general anesthesia.
Okay.
So you are blissfully unaware throughout the whole process.
That's him now.
And then the surgeons, they make these very precise incisions. It really depends on what areas are being treated. And then they remove the excess skin and fat. And they're also tightening and repositioning those underlying tissues.
Look.
That's what's going to help give you that more toned, sculpted look.
It sounds like incredibly detailed work. How long does the actual procedure itself take?
So it can be anywhere from 4 to 7 hours.
Oh, wow.
Depending on the complexity.
So maybe not a lunchtime procedure.
No,
Okay.
probably not.
Definitely not. 4 to 7 hours is, wow, that's a commitment. So I'm going to guess the million-dollar question on everyone's mind right now is, okay, what about recovery? How long until I can get back on my feet, back to my routine?
Yeah. And this is definitely where expectations are super important.
Right.
And HealR seems to be pretty upfront about the fact that this is, not going to be a walk in the park.
Right.
But they do a really good job of breaking it down into these manageable milestones. So let's say you've got, you're at a desk job. You're probably going to be back at work in 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Light exercise, you're probably looking at around that 4 to 6 week mark.
Okay.
But For full recovery, we are talking 8 to 12 weeks. So this is not a sprint. This is an investment.
Right, it's a journey. But it sounds like HealR really puts a lot of emphasis on making that recovery as smooth as possible. What is it about their approach that really stood out to you?
Well, they have this really comprehensive aftercare program, and it seems to be like a cut above.
Okay.
It's not like you go in for your follow-up appointment or two and that's it. We're talking about, close monitoring. They're working with you on pain management strategies and those check-ins, making sure that you're healing properly, all very important. It's like they're really holding your hand through those first few weeks after surgery, which can be, so crucial.
That kind of support can make such a difference, especially when you're going through something this major. You don't want to feel like you're on your own. Right.
No.
Yeah, HealR is in Mumbai.
Right.
So that's going to be a consideration.
It is a factor.
For people. But you were talking about, what sets them apart. And it seems like, from what I'm gathering, it's really their whole approach. They're really big on this personalized care.
Yeah.
And we've touched on that a little bit. How does that play out, like beyond just that initial consultation?
So it's interesting. They have this like patient coordinator.
Oh.
And this isn't just someone who's, scheduling your appointments. This is your person. If you have any questions, concerns, they get to know you. They get to know your case.
Okay.
Really, they're with you the whole way, kind of like having a personal guide through this whole process.
That is really unique. I haven't heard of that anywhere else. That's a level of like dedication you don't see a lot. So you've got that one-on-one attention, but they've obviously got the expertise to back it up, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about their surgical team.
Yeah, so they have a team of, all board-certified plastic surgeons.
Of course.
And they have tons of experience, especially when it comes to body contouring. And I know we were talking about minimizing scarring.
Yeah.
And it turns out their surgical team, they specialize in this less invasive technique called progressive tension suturing, which really helps to minimize scarring. And that's a big deal for people who are considering this.
Huge, yeah.
Especially because you're going to want to show off those results.
Exactly. It sounds like they're really on top of the latest advancements, which is good to hear.
Right.
And then, of course, this is all happening in a state-of-the-art facility, right?
Oh, yeah. They've got all the latest medical technology, which is always reassuring.
Right.
But, we do have to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Which is the risk. Because with any procedure, especially something as involved as a total body lift, you have to go in with realistic expectations.
Absolutely. We can't gloss over that.
Yeah.
So what are some of the potential complications that you came across in your research?
So to HealR's credit, they are very transparent about this.
Okay.
Like any surgery, there are inherent risks, right? So,
Right.
Infection, bleeding, the possibility of poor wound healing, these are all things that, they discuss really openly and honestly with patients.
It's so important to have that open communication.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where that trust is really built.
Yeah.
And it really allows you to make an informed decision.
Exactly.
So then, is there anything someone can do on their end to like minimize those risks? Or is it just a matter of going to a good clinic and hoping for the best?
Well, choosing a reputable clinic like HealR, that's huge, making sure you've got experienced surgeons. But yeah, you do have a part.
Okay.
Following those preoperative instructions to a T, that is key.
Hmm.
Quitting smoking if you smoke, being at a healthy weight.
Right.
And then after that recovery period, you can't just, go back to your old ways. You have to really follow those postoperative instructions. Your body is doing a lot of healing.
Yeah, it's a partnership.
Exactly.
You're in it together. Speaking of things that require careful consideration, let's talk cost.
Yeah.
Because I imagine this is not exactly a drop in the bucket.
You are not wrong. And it's so tricky because it's not like a one-size-fits-all.
Right.
It really depends on, are we talking upper body, lower body, full body?
Right.
And then, of course, you've got surgeon fees, facility fees, anesthesia. It all adds up.
So how does HealR handle that aspect of it? Are they pretty upfront about the cost?
One thing that really impressed me is, they seem to really believe in transparency.
Yeah.
So they will give you a detailed breakdown of all the costs involved during that consultation.
Oh, good.
So you know exactly what to expect.
Okay.
No surprises.
That's good. It's always better to have those open conversations early on.
Yeah.
What about financing options? Because I imagine for a lot of people, that's a major factor.
And they offer several financing options to help make this more accessible.
Okay.
Because they understand, it's a big decision and they want to work with you.
That's really good to hear because, it shouldn't be about who can afford it. It should be about, after you've put in the work, you should be able to take that next step and feel your best.
Exactly. And it says a lot about, they're not just focused on the surgery. They're focused on that whole patient journey.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, maybe they're on the fence, maybe they're hesitant, maybe they're just overwhelmed. There's a lot of information out there.
Hmm.
What would you say, if you had to pick one thing, is the key takeaway you want them to remember about HealR?
I think what I really took away from it is they get it.
Yeah.
They understand that this is a huge decision, and they've really tried to create this experience that is, as comfortable, as supportive, as personalized as possible, really from that very first consultation to the aftercare. It's like, we're here with you.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah,
and I think it's clear that this is not, a one-size-fits-all kind of a procedure.
right.
It really is. It's about taking that leap. It's about,
Yeah.
reclaiming that confidence.
Yeah, aligning your outside with, what you've already done on the inside.
Yeah, if you're dealing with this excess skin and it's holding you back,
Yeah.
just imagine that feeling of letting go of that and finally feeling comfortable.
It's powerful. It's not just aesthetics. It's about self-love, self-care. It's about being your strongest, healthiest self.
And that is a wrap on our deep dive into total body transformations with HealR. We've explored all the ins and outs, the what-ifs, the why-nots, but the most important journey is your own.
Absolutely. So if this is resonating with you, do your research. Ask questions and listen to your gut.
Because ultimately, this is about you feeling confident, empowered
Yes.
in your own skin. And who knows, maybe this was just that little nudge you needed
There you go.
to start writing that next chapter.